Complacency. It's that feeling that you get when things are not perfect, but then they're not bad either. It's that in-between feel. You know, you don't have anything to complain about really, but at the same time, you find yourself wanting just a little bit more. The trouble with complacency is that it can lead us to, yep, you guessed it, ingratitude. Hi, my name is Aminata Coote, author of the book How to Find Your Gratitude Attitude and founder of the Hebrews12endurance.com website. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how complacency can lead us into ingratitude. Today's reading comes to us from Deuteronomy 28 verses 5 and 6, reading from the New King James Version. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall you be when you come in, and blessed shall you be when you go out. These two verses are just two out of the blessing section of Deuteronomy 28. They're taken from Moses' final speech. So here they are, after 40 years of wandering around in the wilderness. They are on the brink of entering the promised land. But unfortunately, because Moses disobeyed God, he would not be able to cross over with them. But Moses, being the leader that he was, wanted to make sure that he equipped his people to know exactly what they would encounter on the other side. So he starts out by giving them a history. He recalls for them all that they went through in Egypt. He told them how God had saved them. He reminded them of how God had protected them through the wandering in the wilderness. He reminded them of how they had rebelled against God and the punishments that they suffered each time. He also reminded them of all the great things that God had done for them. So here they are, about to cross over, and Moses wants to let them know what to expect. So he starts by reminding them, this is what God expects from you. This is the kind of behavior that he wants from you. And if you obey God, these are the blessings that you can expect. But if you don't obey God, these are the kinds of punishments that you can expect. Unfortunately, every single one of the curses were actually fulfilled. Because once they got into the land and they no longer had to fight every day, and they didn't have to worry about where the next meal was coming from, and they had a good, comfortable place to sleep in, they had women to marry, and they were having children, and everything was good, they got a little bit comfortable. And they forgot to give God thanks. And it was at this moment that they said, you know what? I want to be like all the other nations around me. I want to create my own God, something that I can see with me. They forgot this intricate part of the promise that God would be with them wherever they went. The verse says that God would be with them when they went out and when they came in. Now, this was completely unlike the gods of the nations around them. If you had an idol and you wanted him to come with you, you had to physically lift him up and take him with you. But that was not the case with Jehovah. That was not the case with him at all. He promised them that he would be with them at all times. An idol could not provide food for them, despite the fact that the nations around them would worship them, thinking that they brought rain and food and provision. All of that came from God, and God had already told them, I will give you enough food for your basket, which is your now, and I'll also provide for your kneading bowl, which is for your future. Complacency is something that makes us forget to give thanks. Because nothing seems to be going wrong, we don't feel like we need to be crying out to God at all times. So because we're not always crying on him, then we sometimes forget to even talk to him. We think that God might be bored by the nothingness of our lives, but that's so not true. God wants to hear from us. He wants to have that relationship, that connection. So tell me, how do you fight against complacency? Share them with me in the comments below. Today's devotional was inspired by day 4 of my book, How to Find Your Gratitude Attitude, which is available in print and digital format on Amazon.com. It's also available as an ebook on the BarnesandNoble.com website, as well as iTunes and Kobo. I'll leave the links in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell so that you can get notifications when I post a new video. Until next time.